It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way.
I have rescued an animal. I actually was doing something that no one would probably expect. I was out bird watching in Avon Bottoms, and I was just getting ready to leave, and I looked over, and there's this little white head sticking up out of the grass. So I went over there, and basically 45 minutes later, because he ran up a tree, I rescued this little fella, and that was on Halloween 3 years ago, and I brought him home. He sprinted around the house, he peed on one of our plants, and he's been our dog ever since. When I was little, I think just rescuing like birds that fell out of a nest, or I was always bringing like turtles and snakes home when I was younger. My mom always loved that. That's probably about it.
My husband and I started rescuing animals back in 1997. He found a pony that was being abused, and a neighbor had called and told him about it, and he went to see this pony, and basically the pony was just left alone in the field, had no interactions with people, and so he brought the pony home. It was a long story, but he brought the pony home, and we found out the pony had a lot of bad habits. He was never trained, so we worked on, he did a lot of cribbing, and we thought, well, the problem was he needed another pony to be with him. So we heard of a woman outside of Browntown that had ponies that the vets said that they felt that they were in danger of being abused. So my husband went to this woman, and we found that one of the ponies had a halter embedded in her face. They never changed the halter as she grew, so she has a deformed face. She also had a foal at the time that was malnourished, and we took 3 of those ponies that day because the woman said, if you're going to take those 2, take the 3rd one, and then we turned her over to the authorities for the abuse of these animals. And then another man, Cal Shaver, called us one day and said that he had a horse that was going to foal, and the horse had been abused, and he had rescued the horse, and he wanted us to take the horse in the foal because he didn't have room at the time, so we did, and that started our menagerie. We ended up having a goat dropped off at one time in the middle of the night. Somebody just threw it in our field, and he was in bad shape. We also had the vets call us with a dog that was in bad shape, that was full of mange, ticks, fleas, and had wandered in. We did find the owner of that dog, but to forego being charges, we kept the dog. It was a collie. We had her for 12 years. We also had a cat that the vets called that came in. They were going to euthanize the cat just because the cat was allergic to hay, and it was an outdoor cat, so you make it an indoor cat. What's dumb about that? So we took that cat, then the vets called us again. They had another cat that was okay, it just needed a home. We took her, and she surprised us with a litter of about 8 little kittens about 3 weeks later. We also had a diabetic cat that was turned over to us, so we kept that cat. We've had probably, since 1997, we've rescued 15 ponies, 1 horse, 8 cats. My kids ended up with cats that they didn't know they were going to have. And we had the collie, our black lab right now. Murphy is a dog that both the parents were related, and so we ended up with Murphy and her 2 siblings. So my daughter has one of hers, and then Deacon right now that we have, our Bernese Mountain Dog, was brought into the vets to be euthanized because he was had a parasite. The vets called us. We took him. After 48 hours, they kept him alive, and then we had him for the rest of the time. So rescuing animals is very, very rewarding. Every single one of our ponies has a story. We have one that has bad tendons, so his legs stiffen up on him really quick. He has to go to a special equine farrier once a month to have his hooves taken care of. We have another one that she stumbled in the field when she was younger, and so she did damage to her leg, and the vets called us wanting to know if we take her. She's a delight. She just walks funny. We had another horse that had a parasite that ate all the nerve endings in her spinal cord, and it made her paralyzed in her back legs. It was called EPM. She was malnourished and being fed feed that was full of possum droppings, and possums carry this parasite, and so that's how she got it. Luckily, it went to her hind legs instead of her brain. Usually it goes straight to the brain and kills the animal. We had her for 12 years. She was very expensive rescue, and her medication ran us about $1,000 a month. We don't have insurance for this, so this is just something we do because we love animals. She was a delight. I loved her. She was a beautiful quarter horse. So that's what we do. We don't take in anymore because we've had a lot of ours are in their 20s now, and every time we lose one to age, it's just very gut-wrenching and very sad. So we try to avoid those calls. But if the vet calls us and says, we've got another animal, I'm sure we'll break down and say we'll take it temporarily and we'll end up with it permanently.
Animals, they don't always come healthy. And two of our ponies, when they came, they had problems with their hooves. And we've always had to have a special farrier come and take care of them. And as they aged, arthritis set in. And so now these cold winters that we've had, the last 2 winters, has caused the hooves to like fold underneath. And so when they walk on the tip of their hooves, which is looks extremely painful, and it probably is, though the vets have stated that as long as they keep walking on them, because they need the blood flow through their legs, and it has to be constant movement. That's why you rarely see a horse laying down or anything, because of it's stressful on them. Another one of our ponies has we lost actually a pony because she had a jaw problem, and when we got her, her jaw had been broken, and so every time that she would hit this jaw, because of the way it was set, the first time it was never treated by the previous owner, the jaw she chewed her food differently than most ponies, and eventually it broke again, and we were going to take her to Madison for surgery, and the vet stated that it was too swollen. We needed to wait 24 hours before we could take her to Madison to have the surgery to have it fixed the right way that the previous owner didn't do, and she died that night. She blew a blood clot, and it went to her lungs and eventually to her heart, so we lost her that night. But these are the things that you encounter when you rescue animals. Some of them are perfectly fine, they just need a loving home, and some of them need more than just a loving home. They need extra medical care. And I don't know if I stated it before, but we don't have any funds to do this. We just do it because we love the animals. So we're not like a nonprofit or anything. When the vets call, we're not forced to take these animals. We just have a soft spot in the heart for them. And when you come out to my house, everybody's got an injury or an ailment or something, just because they were weakened when they got here. They were giving them a loving home. They're well taken care of, and they're a perfect joy. They're winning at me every night when I get home. So.
Go fight clothes, yeah. cash and thanks for asking. Couldn't slow down, so we had to crash it. You use plastic, we bout cash. I see some people